Welcome to Knitting at the Boxerville Homestead. My name's Carol. This is Sophie. You can see her. Chances at my feet. Today is, oh my gosh, well, I should know what today is. It's February 3rd, 2023. It's actually 34 years ago today that my mother died. Not to bring it down to it, because it's not. We feel very blessed in knowing where she is. I am sipping on some, I had to bring it's kind of like a weekly thing now, or whenever I film. This is Stashmeyer Lemon. Have you guys ever had this? Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It is so flavorful. A little bit of agave in with it, and it's crazy good. Highly recommend it. I'm a tea coffee drinker, probably more coffee, but I do like me some tea. So a little bit, let's see, I live in the Pacific Northwest, north of Seattle, with my husband John and Chance and Sophie, Bernadette, our lonely chicken, and our resident deer Hazel, who I just went outside to give her some kibble and a few apples. She didn't come yesterday. She doesn't always come every day, and I'm going to put some footage in of her in the back, and then a little bit of us yesterday just walking the field. We live here. We are blessed to live here on 5 acres. We have a pond, a bunch of fruit trees, a lot of fruit actually in general. We grow a large garden that we preserve every year. We just generally love the outdoors. I actually am not dressed for wool, or I don't have any wool on me, because as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go for a run. Wouldn't say I'm an avid runner, but I run almost daily. I was actually training for a half marathon last summer, and long story short, I hit a ditch to keep from a car getting me, and I broke my leg. So it was actually just the distal end of the fibula, but it was very painful, and being the nurse that I am, I walked on it for 2 weeks before I finally relented and had an x-ray. So then I had a choice of 10 to 12 weeks in a boot or 8 weeks in a cast. I opted for the boot. I personally like to shower, and I wanted to be able to take it off, and I know it has to itch having a cast on. So that's not even anything about knitting. That's a divert that I will tend to go and do. I'm just so easily distracted, and I apologize for that. So let's have a shot, and I'll show you what's on the needles. This is going to be short this week, but I really wanted to get something out either Friday night or early Saturday morning. I've not made many videos. I don't even know what number this is. I probably should look and start putting it on there, but I've noticed that if I put one down on the weekend, it gets more views, and I would like to have more views. I think this is a lot of fun. It's good for my brain. It keeps me focused, and actually something I look forward to on a Friday. My husband's on his way home, which I also look forward to. I've had him a long time, and I hope to have him a long time more. So a little sip and we'll get going. What do you think, Sassy? Are you looking forward to Daddy coming home? She's a mama's girl, but she loves her daddy too. Okay, pardon the bend down, but that's where everything is. I wish I could remember whose podcast I saw this on last week so that I could thank them, because this, I think, is a pattern that's going to work out really great for my husband. When I met him, he had hair down to his waist, beautiful, brown. This was, the 80s. Brown, long hair. And I still am a sucker for a man with long hair, as long as it's clean and well tended. And John's was beautiful. He's bald now. The ravages of age. Anyways, back at it. the Sea Train hat, On the Sea Train hat, I think is what it's called. Yes, On the Sea Train. And did I cut off who it's by? Oh, it's Espace Tricot, or however you say that. Fabulous. I highly recommend go to Ravelry and look at all of their patterns. Beautiful patterns. Some of them are very similar to some of the high-end ones now that are paid for. And again, nothing against paid for patterns. Trust me, I have a lot of them. But it's nice to have a free pattern once in a while. It's like a treat. It's kind of a little special blessing. So On the Sea Train hat, I have just started, actually, like not long ago today. And I wish I had saved the ball bands. I have 2 of these, and I didn't save the ball band. I do know it's a Noro, and I do know that every September we take our 5th wheel and go down the Oregon coast, which, oh my gosh, you guys, that is God's country. I am not kidding. The beaches, the air, I love it. Anyway, we bought this in the intent of knitting John a hat. Now, my husband isn't the normal man that, well, I don't know if it's normal. He's into color. The boy wore pink glasses for a few years. I loved him. He likes color. He likes orange like me. Anyways, I think it's Noro. I know it's Noro. I just don't remember which one. I started, and I think the reason the ball bands are missing is I did start a couple of different hats and it just never felt right. You know what I mean? It's like, this is not what that wants. That's not what that wants to be. So I ripped back and I think this is the hat. So I'm doing On the Sea Train because of the fact that it is recommended for a worsted weight yarn and holding a mohair with it. So that would make it like, what about a DK? And to start with a size 7 circular needle, well, I actually did a gauge swatch. Go figure. That's not me, trust me. And I was not getting anywhere near the 24 stitches per 4. I was getting 18 to 19. Went down a needle size, still wasn't getting what I wanted to. I think I was getting like 20 maybe then. So I went down 2 needle sizes. So I am doing this on a US 5, which, is that a 3mm? Ugh, I need to get better at that. And then it says on this to move up to an 8 for the main part of the hat. I am not sure how far I'm gonna go up before I do go up to a larger size needle. Again, I am in doing the 2x2 rib to start with. It's a free pattern, so a 2x2, actually the whole thing's a 2x2 rib other than the decreases. So I am knitting through the back loop because I like the looks of it. Now, I don't think this is gonna be big, but I think because of the type of wool that it is, I can felt it down a little bit if I need to, but I don't think that's gonna be an issue. Anyways, this probably is not a lot of people's colors, but John, well, there's a lot of colors in it. There'll be black, pink, brown, green, army green, which we both really like the olive color green. Did I tell you why I'm dressed this way? See, there you go. Off again. But I just all of a sudden looked at my sleeve and thought, I probably look a fright, and I do. I am going for a run. I did tell you that, right? I'm a runner. Anyway, I'm going for a run after this, and I just wanted to be ready to go. And so this is what I wear. Anyways, back to this. Now it's kind of into this powdery bluish color. I don't even know what color it is, but it's quite lovely. And that's about it for it. Hopefully I will have this done next week. It is going pretty quick, and I like it. I like the feel of it because it's really woolly, and my hands are kind of dry right now, and if I don't, you can almost catch it on your, it's lovely. Love it. And what else do I have here on the needles? So the Beloved that I was knitting last week, it is blocking right now. It's wet. So if I don't still have it next week, I'll take pictures of it. I soaked and blocked it today, and I really have to pin that thing out in order to get, because it's not wool. Well, there might be a little wool in it. It's this stuff by Lion Brand. And like I said, it's for a new mom. Not that she's not a new mom. This is her third child, but new baby. And she has two little ones now under 16 months old, I think we figured out. A 7-year-old, because I think Ron will be 8 this year. And also her husband's son, who is 9. That's there every other weekend. So busy household. Nice to be able to throw something in the wash. But I'm also making another one for her. And I don't know that I talked about this. This is also a Beloved hat. Obviously just barely getting started. This I'm going to make a little bigger, and it is Knit Picks Stroll. You know, I don't know. It's this. I can't remember. Again, no ball band. I promise that's one of my New Year's goals, I guess. Anyway, this is such a great pattern. Tin Can Knits. So well written. Makes such a nice fitting beanie. I love an I-cord. You'll learn that. I love an I-cord. I love an I-cord. I also have little mittens that I made. This is my own pattern. I don't really have it's a recipe. Yeah, it's just my own pattern. I just take off and start doing it. I still need to do the little thumbs, and I made them big. And I probably could have just done without the little thumbs, but they're so cute with the little thumbs. Even if they don't put them in there, they're cute. So these need thumbs. This needs finished. And I betcha I play Yarn Chicken. And I don't think I have any more of this color. Not sure. Anyway, aren't they sweet? Little teeny tiny people hands. I'm hoping that this will get Thea through like next fall, through to next fall. Maybe into the winter, I doubt it. Well, it's hard to say. The little hands don't, they get pudgy, but they don't seem to get as big as quick as those noggins get big. They're big anyway to start with. Holy cow. Anyway, that's on the needles. I have not dove into a sweater. I am still angry at the Felix pullover. It's still in timeout right here. I don't even want to look at it. But I'm not going to let it get me. No. I still have gone absolutely nowhere. I shouldn't even show this. But I haven't gone anywhere other than, I love the color work part. Life's Better When Camping, Gray Owl Knits. Her name's Sarah Kelly. And did I mention I hate knitting the feet part? And I just need to do it because I probably don't need to knit that much more of that brown. That is just what's got me off on it. Because then I'm going to do, like I mentioned, I'm going to do some of the snow cap stuff and then opposite toes. Orange on the aqua trailer side toe and an aqua on the orange tent side toe. And I don't have to knit this far. I've got dinky little feet, or like a size 6.5 US, maybe a 37 euro in my dance clothes for work with a big sock. So it's not like I have to knit a whole bunch like I would for my husband's Fred Flintstone feet, which he gets the next pair of socks, which is probably another reason I'm dragging, because then I know I've got to knit those Fred Flintstone socks. And I swear his feet are as wide as mine are long. And he's not a tall man. I don't know. Trying to limit what I'm knitting on this week. I shouldn't have started another hat. He needs another hat, like a hole in his head. But you know what? I wanted to that will be a nice palate cleanser for me because I'll be able to whip through that quick and I'll feel accomplished then, and then I think I'll be ready to go again. Baby bonnets, even though they go fast, they just don't seem like an accomplishment that much. I don't know why. To me, I'm on. So the only thing I did finish, like I said, was that beloved beanie, and it's blocking, and it turned out cute. I still can't decide whether to put a little pom-pom on it. It's too tiny for any of the fur pom-poms, fake fur, actually faux fur ones that I have. But it might be cute with kind of a little fuzzy pom-pom at the tip because it has that little up-a-doozy thing. Yeah. So I have to tell you, and I meant to grab this wool wash. Okay, so I got this new wool wash from Amazon because I was out of soak. And instead of getting up and getting it, I'm just going to show you the picture. I ordered it from Amazon. And I ordered this one in particular because, wow, soak has really gotten expensive on Amazon. And I know I should buy it somewhere else. But I needed something. I didn't realize I was that far out, and I was. So I ordered this. It had great reviews, and I guess there's probably nothing wrong with it other than I don't like the smell of it. And it's funny too because people on there said how much they love the smell of it. It's Outback Gold wool wash and conditioner. Contains lanolin, aloe, and tea tree oil. And you know what? Maybe it's the tea tree oil that I don't like the smell of in it. I don't know, but I just don't care for it. Generally with soak, I never rinse my woolens afterwards. With this, I will be rinsing because I want to get some of the scent out of it, and I don't want to waste it. But I probably wouldn't purchase it again. It's done a great job as far as softening even that acrylic wool blend. It softened it, and I washed another hat along with it, and it's fine. But I like soak. I like Soak Celebration. That's my favorite, actually. So that was something new. And now I also fell down a huge rabbit hole in the midst of discovering a new podcast. Paula from Stitched by Mrs. D. You have cost me, lady, and I don't know if she won't see this. However, I placed an order for this hydrangea kit that I'm not going to do that hydrangea kit blanket on it, but I want to do the, I have it on here, Jelly Roll blanket by Kay Jones. Now the one that Paula did with this hydrangea kit is amazing. I mean, this one's beautiful too. There's no denying it. I love it. And I'm not much for scrappy. I mean, I like the idea of it, but I never, I'm not sure where to put it. I love this. It's knit in strips. I'm sure everybody, if anybody sees this, already knows about this. But it's knit in strips, and then you seam it together, and then it's knit in another Jelly Roll strip. And just like the Jelly Roll quilts. I quilt a little, but I've never done a Jelly Roll quilt. Anyways, beautiful, beautiful blanket. So I wanted to find it. The only place I could find it was in the UK at, what is the name of the wool warehouse. And surprisingly, shipping to the US was not bad at all. It was 10 pounds, so maybe close to $11 to ship it all the way across the pond and clean across the US because I'm on the West Coast. Anyway, I was amazed. So I get on there. That kit's only $30. I checked out for $270. And only $10, $11, $12 of that was shipping. Oi. So Paula, that's your fault. And thank you. because I got actually the sweaters that I spoke of in the last podcast. I got a couple of sweaters quantities within that, and their Jameson and Smith selection and amount that they had in stock was amazing. I was disappointed that disappointed is probably a good thing, because it really would have, their drops, most everything that I wanted was out. I'm gonna keep watching it, because $10, most places in the US will cost you that much and more. I can name a couple that are really super expensive, that are really close in our area, and it costs more than that. So that, it said 7 to 14 days shipping, which that's fine. Yeah, I can totally wait. It's not like I don't have yarn. I haven't told my husband this. He doesn't need to know. They don't need to know. That's the thing to a happy, we've been together 37 years, only married 33. But that's the thing let me tell you, young girls, and I learned another tip to a happy marriage is you just tell them what they need to know. That's it. And I'm going to show you something else that I found out. So I have to do a lot of Zoom meetings, and I'm not saying I do this, but I just heard this recently, and I'm going to tell you a trick. So you're in a Zoom meeting in the afternoon, and there's always that one person in there that wants to talk and ask stupid questions. And you just think, if I could only be consuming alcohol, I could probably tolerate this. Well, and I like my wine in a glass, clear glass, short one, no stem, because I don't want to tip it over. So you just put it in your teacup, and you bring it up to your lips, and you blow on it like you're blowing to cool your tea and your coffee down. You take a drink. Now you're wondering, is she drinking wine or is she drinking tea? What do you think? You're welcome. Is that all I wanted to say about Paula? Okay, so Paula, in this podcast, I stumbled across her, and she's been on for years. She is so hilarious, and she is could be my younger sister. I don't have one, or my twin, my younger twin. Holy cow. I can totally keep up with her, because her brain acts and reacts and thinks, and it's on fire just like mine. So if you have not watched her, Stitched with Mrs. D, her name's Paula. I love her. She has me laughing all the time. It's amazing, and she's so talented. She has an Etsy store, and she does Vlogmases. I shotgunned all the Vlogmas from this past December and the one before. Now I'm doing some of her March ones. Hello, Sophia. Tell everybody hello. Tell our friends hello. Yeah, tell our friends hello. And she's just a beautiful girl. And her tongue is like that all the time. She's fine. Right? She's got her warm blanket. She and Chance both have plug-in warm blankets. Yeah, on their beds. Because it's winter and it's cold. And they're babies. And they started out a rough life, and they deserve to have posh lives now. And get back to knitting. So, anyway, Paula, yeah, if you have not watched her and you can tolerate me, because she's quite similar, she's amazing. I love her. So do watch her. I have just I'm so behind in my books, which I was going to talk about anyway, but one more thing that I've acquired, and it just came today. It came quicker than I thought it would. So I mentioned John and I are huge camping fan. We glamp. We don't camp. I can't sleep outside on the ground. I'm too old and I'm too crotchety. But knitting the national parks. Have you guys seen this? I think it's kind of new. Again, I saw it on a podcast. I have no clue which one now. I mean, I could probably really sit down and narrow it down, but I can't. I can't think of it now. I don't think it was Amber on a Lovely Yarn. No, maybe. I don't know. If I think of it, I'll put it in the show notes if I actually do any. Anyways, pretty amazing. It just came today, so I've not had a huge amount of time to look at it. It is entirely charted. So if that's an issue with I generally do better with the written just because the way my brain works, but I can do charts, and especially on a hat. There are some pretty amazing, like this is the North Dakota Theodore Roosevelt National Parks hat, and I hope I have it in frame. The buffaloes out on the range. And I have to show you Washington's. We have 3 national parks in Washington State. Mount Rainier, the Olympic Forest, where it's actually my husband grew up in the Olympic Peninsula, and the North Cascades. And I really like the Mount Rainier one. And this isn't giving anything away here. The pattern's on the other page, so I'm not spoiling anything. But I really like that one. And maybe I really like it because I've been there. The wildflowers are pretty amazing. It's just a beautiful mountain anyway. We really do have some beautiful mountains around here. I hope I have that in frame. I know last week I didn't have a lot of it in frame. And the North Cascades. So the North Cascades, for years, we would take and go over every spring, opening trout season. I don't even like trout anymore. I like salmon, big fish. Trout to me is a bait fish, but it was fun to catch them. And we would go over the North Cascades Pass, and then over the Loop Loop Pass and stay at Fish Lake with some friends of ours that he's no longer with us, but some great memories of going over that mountain. Boy, and it's jagged too. I don't remember what the elevation is, but pulling a trailer, trust me, it's pretty darn high. Okay, now the Olympic Peninsula in particular. So my husband grew up in Forks. Have you guys heard of Forks? I can't imagine you haven't because of the Twilight series. He grew up there. 18, he got out because it's like, oh, to us, it's like, I don't know why you'd want to live there. They get like 170 or 207 inches or too much rain. It pretty much rains all the time over there. That's where it rains, truly. But everything is green, and there's some really beautiful areas. Really beautiful along the coast. Ruby Beach actually is one of the most beautiful beaches, I think, on the Washington coast. Probably the most beautiful, in my opinion. So anyway, this is the Olympic one, and it's all green. That is the picture that it was inspired, and the beanie. And that's pretty accurate. Pretty accurate, actually, as to what it looks like. It's very green, especially when you get into the areas of the old growth forest or driving around Lake Crescent, which I have some pictures of sometime. Maybe we'll do like a little faux trip if I knit this one, because I probably will, just because of the fact it's where John grew up. And then maybe I'll put some pictures in of around Lake Crescent. That lake, they feel there is no bottom to that lake that's ever been found. And there's some pretty cool history and stories with that. It's a lake that's between Port Angeles, Washington and Forks, Washington, with a few small little scattered towns in between that are kind of ghosty towns. Yeah, there might be like a gas station, or one place has a little bit of a restaurant, I think. Like Beaver is one of them. Anyway, kind of a cool book. I'm anxious to sit down and really look at it. And even if I don't knit very many things from it, I think it's pretty cool. And that's one of the things we've talked about when we retire, is start hitting the national parks and seeing the beauty that is just here in this country. And lastly, I told you it was going to be short. I love it when people talk about their books, what they're reading or what they're listening to. I mostly, as I mentioned before, I listen because I can't knit and read. And if I'm going to sit, I'm going to knit. And at night, if I pick a book up to read, I'm out in 5 seconds. So the book that I'm actually listening to and almost finished with right now is called Homefront, and it's by Kristen Hanna. And it's a book actually based in the Pacific Northwest, so that's kind of fun for me. It's not anything intense, although right now it's a bit intense because this woman is a soldier. She's in Afghanistan and she's a helicopter pilot and she's been shot down. Her husband's actually the one at home with the kids. So, and the fact that they talk about the different areas where they live, riding a ferry, it keeps my attention. And plus I can listen to it when I'm cleaning house or bringing in wood or in the car, driving to the market. It's good. I recently finished A Stitch in Time by Kelly Armstrong, and that was good. I enjoyed that a lot. Again, none of these, well, I'm not sure about this next one, but nothing that you have to really pay attention to. It's just kind of easy listening. Next up for me, I think it's MJ Rose wrote it, and it is Stories from Suffragette City, from the suffragettes, however, maybe it's suffragettes. I think it's suffragettes, which has kind of always fascinated me. So that is what I will be listening to next. And I really got to start getting back to my books a little bit more because, again, I had to renew one that I had not even listened to yet. I took most of mine out through the library. Probably didn't say that. I use the Overdrive app until they make me switch to that new Libby one, which I'm not happy about because I like the Overdrive one. I know how to use it. Works perfect. I don't know why we're getting rid of it. Whatever. Anyway, I had to renew a bunch of them because, again, Paula is killing me. I'm not listening to anything else but her podcasts. And I'm hitting like every time. So please, if you listen to me, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things, whatever it is. I enjoy coming on here. I'm not real great at it, obviously. I'll get better, I promise. And the editing, again, I'll get better, I promise. I'll learn to do the show notes. That really is tea. It's not wine, it's tea. And I just enjoy hearing from, if anybody listens, if you could leave a comment, let me know where you are listening from. That would be awesome. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Like I said, it's Friday afternoon. Here it's about 2:45. I bet you it's 50 degrees outside. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. It is sprinkling a little bit, but it is getting brighter as well. So I hope that stops because I really don't want to run in the rain. Although you don't get warm that way, or too warm at least. It works out for the benefit. But the glasses thing, it's the pits because they get... I'm just going on. You guys don't want to listen to this. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with some shots from yesterday. Us out walking in the field. A few things of Hazel. Mostly of my little rompers here. My little baby. What do you think, Sophia? Yeah, tell our friends goodbye. Say, adopt, don't shop. Save a life like mine. Because she would have been killed the next day. We literally got her out the night before. So, rescue your best friend. And have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you next Friday.
it out, honey. Get you ready. Get you ready. Go with the boys. Go with the boys.